Really nice interview about how we can move that body and stay in shape. We're gonna keep that energy going because for segment 2, we'll be joined by Dr. Travis Baptiste. He's gonna talk to us about not only the nutrition side of it, similar to what Dr. Kendra did, but the fitness and other things that we can do. So I'm excited about him for segment 2. And we have ourselves a jam-packed show with guests. We will be joined by, I would like to say, one of the smartest kids south of the Dixie, right? Might be in the whole country. Emory Williams scored a 36. Perfect 36 on the ACT. Yeah.
Dang.
I could do some subtracting when I think about my score, but he maintained a 3.9 GPA. We're going to talk to him about where he's headed to college. And last but certainly not least, one thing I really love about the summer is, well, it's my birthday month, but outside of that, there's other things we could check out. The French Open this past weekend was nice. LSU and Omaha, we're going to talk about that later on in this segment. But in addition to that, boxing was rolling overseas in the UK, so we got to have Sean Hemphill join us on the show and talk about his championship win overseas. So, y'all, we have ourselves a great show. And y'all be sure to tune in. Remember, you can like and subscribe to Inside the Trenches on YouTube. But while we right here talking right now on this wonderful platform here, ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube, be sure to comment below. If you hadn't done so already, definitely subscribe to this page. And remember, every Monday, we right here in the Loyola Studios from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., giving y'all a nice jump shot to y'all's Monday night. Guys, let's jump into it. Big news this weekend. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers. This is something that we all knew was going to eventually happen. It's a $13.6 million guarantee. He will wear the number 8. He's not going to wear the 12, Terry Bradshaw, respectively. CL, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. When I saw this, I said, I know CL's supposed to be back in the studio. Let me get his take on this, so we're going to kick this thing off with you. Your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers?
Well, I'm a big fan of Inside the Trenches, and I watched the show just as much as anybody else, and we were all curious to see where Aaron Rodgers would actually land. We were all curious to see what was the actual thought process of a Mike Tomlin and the upper brass of the Pittsburgh Steelers when they didn't draft Shador in any of the rounds. We were all waiting to see, the egg actually crack. And to my point, he went for $13 million, which was more than I believe anybody else, including the New Orleans Saints, were going to be willing to pay for him for this one-year deal. But yes, Aaron has decided to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go.
Look, Chris, what you say about this move, man?
Okay. How I think about this move. I think the Steelers can potentially be a playoff team, maybe be like a wild card team, but I don't think they're gonna win the division. Not with this signing, and mainly because how tough that division is with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and I said Baltimore, Cincinnati, and we'll see what Cleveland does. Yeah, but it's a very tough division. I could probably see them going, maybe be a wild card team, but anything more than that, I don't think so.
Well, guys, incidentally speaking, I think that's kind of what Coach Tomlin is looking at with this move. He been a fan of Aaron Rodgers. Chris, he been wanting to make this move happen. But you do have a situation. Well, I'm going to ask y'all this. Do you feel like this receiving core is better than the one he had with the Jets?
No.
I think it's a push. I think it's right there in the middle. Me personally, I don't. If you look at the last 3 years of Aaron Rodgers playing football, he wasn't the guy that we have in the vision when you first say Aaron Rodgers in your mind. He has not produced those numbers, and he has not produced that nostalgia, if you will, on the field, obviously not off the field either. And I foresee that the Pittsburgh Steelers have always been a playoff team. They've always snuck in the playoffs. I only give him maybe one more game because of Aaron Rodgers and his, him being there, because I don't see them being on pace with his receivers. And don't get me wrong, he still has training camp and everything to go, but we understand how picky Aaron is about the receivers that he do play. And how long does it take before an Allen Lazard comes around? a Cobb comes to Pittsburgh because he's not on sync with the receivers that he has. I am almost into the thought process of this might be the first losing season that Mike Tomlin's ever had in his career, considering what goes on with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year.
Wow, that's a great take because Mike Tomlin's the 10-win guy, right?
Every year.
They may not win the
Pretty
playoffs, but his job has been secure over the past decade and some change because of this maintaining 10 wins. Last year he was able to do it with Russell, mixing in a little bit of Justin Fields. Do y'all see this as a situation where Aaron Rodgers could potentially be a mentor to Will Howard? It's a 1-year deal.
Nope.
So you don't even see that. So
because Aaron has always made it known that he's never wanted to be a bridge quarterback. He never wanted to be a tutorer. He lets you know that his job is to be the starting quarterback for whatever respected team. And he's never wanted to be a tutor or a guy that helps younger guys, not even younger receivers, that is entwined in his success moving forward.
Well, Tomlin may view that a little differently just simply because, okay, he can view it however he wants it from the Aaron Rodgers perspective, but Tomlin, like, just you being in this organization, just you bringing the Aaron Rodgers effect, I don't think he'll clash with Arthur Smith the way that Russell did. And indirectly, you don't want to do it, but you're going to eventually show Will Howard how to do it like an MVP in the NFL does it. Because I'm with you, CL. Like, we was like, why y'all didn't go with Shadora? You know, an elusive quarterback could really putting some people behind him, some veterans behind him would do his due diligence. But yeah, I am interested. He has DK Metcalf. He has Robert Woods. So we'll see. We should definitely see the running game. It's, of course, Jalen Warren and whatever.
And are we seeing this setup already? They got rid of Najee Harris, so they re-signed Williams, number 30. They drafted another running back. So we're not sure of what the running game is going to be. Are we ready to watch Aaron Rodgers throw the football 40 times a game in Pittsburgh? I don't think so. Nah, and I believe that is the beginning of the beginning of them not having a losing season for the first time in 10+ years.
Incidentally speaking, the person that they did draft was Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. Mm-hmm. Who does this young man look like? You want to let our viewers know?
He look a little bit like Pac-Man, but then at the same time he looked like Tomlin.
He looks like Devontae Adams. Oh wow. Dude, look.
He's gonna need Devontae Adams' skill to get past that offensive line in Pittsburgh because they haven't addressed the offensive line. Who's gonna protect Aaron Rodgers? I just don't see it going well.
So Chris is saying that y'all heard that all our viewers here at Baton Rouge, right here on this live YouTube, Baton Rouge ESPN, y'all heard him. He said that this may be Coach Tomlin's first year not having a losing record. Oh yeah, hey. Imagine Coach Tomlin 7-10.
Remember, the Pittsburgh still has to play Baltimore 2 times a year, Cincinnati 2 times a year, and let's just say for giggles that they split with Cleveland. Shador pulls off a game in Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, this is definitely a great point. So let's go around the league for a second, guys. If y'all just tuning in, it's Inside the Trenches. We have ourselves a great show for you. This segment is brought to you by the Health Nut System, Dr. Kendra Andra. Y'all make sure y'all check them out Sunday mornings. I want to say from like 9 to 11 a.m. Her and her husband have a show on AM 940. Be sure to check them out on your AM dial. Checking y'all out the other day, it was pretty nice. Stephon Diggs, 4 years, $69 million. He's relatively young. I know it's a lot of
dog years.
Stephon's what, 32? No, I think he's like 31, huh?
He's past 30 years old, well-traveled receiver in this NFL. Do I think Stephon can give Drake May balls? Yeah, I think he could give him maybe 35, 40 balls, 35, 40 balls a game. Yeah. But just like I said when Stephon went to the Texans, will he stunt the growth of the younger receivers that's around him because he demands so many balls. Respectfully, 2-time, 3-time Pro Bowler. He deserves, a look-see, but, I just never see, and I never wanted to call Stephon a diva, but a diva-esque type receiver combined with a young quarterback as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Chris? I mean, he's out there doing it the Patriots way. There's a Keyshawn Boutte. Drake May has a lot of potential. I think he could be good in our
Will
league.
Campbell blocking for his blind side.
Come on now, Chris. They got something over there. But Stephon Diggs is a high-power receiver. Does he mesh with the floor of this team?
I think if he can stay healthy, I think he could be a solid number 1 receiver for New England.
So draft him on my fantasy football team. Look, Chris, look at Chris.
I'm only going to say no because, there's definitely better receivers in the league. Yeah. But I'll say draft him, I don't know, third
if he's still there,
round,
in the 4th round. Okay, all right. There's Mac Hollins. They got him from Buffalo. You have DeMario Douglas, Kyle Williams. They drafted him. So you have Keyshawn Boutte. They bring him in the 6th round. They have him second on the depth chart. Yeah. I like Will Campbell there. You have Gary Bradbury. Get him from Minnesota. Minnesota. Get him from out there.
Hopefully, Stephon opens up the offense for these young men.
There you go.
Hopefully, he's what they double team and leaves, maybe a Hollis one-on-one. Maybe leave Cobb coming out the backfield one-on-one. But, it's the same deal. Until I see anything differently, Coach, it's the same deal. It's the same deal as Houston until I see different.
On the flip side, you're a big fan of Coach Aaron Glenn. He signed Justin Fields to a 2-year deal, $40 million. Young quarterback, has experience now, 2 NFL teams. 2 different philosophies. He's a veteran. You like to move, locking things up with Justin Fields. See how you look over the next 2 years?
I'm okay with it because I know Coach Glenn is a loyalty guy, and so am I. And this might be the first time that Justin Fields gets a true chance in the NFL. I don't think the Pittsburgh situation, I believe it was a trapdoor under him anyway because they were waiting for Russell to get healthy. So I think regardless if he burned the house down or he scored 1 million touchdowns, eventually they were going to move on to Russell. So him moving to the Jets and because I personally question Coach Glenn about not drafting Shador. So he was steady in believing that Fields could be that guy. I believe in the 2 running backs that's behind him. I like the philosophy that Coach Glenn is actually coming with from Detroit. I think he has a chance, but I would not be surprised if they're calling for somebody else to play quarterback in New Jersey.
You think so?
This is a National Football League. You
have
to throw the football.
You got to throw it.
Absolutely.
Hold on, let me look at something.
Because what happens after they double 5? Once they realize 5 is the main target, once they, what happens? Who is going to step up outside of Wilson? I believe in the running backs. I believe in that 2-headed monster. But besides Wilson, who else is going to step up? Are they they're going to be dependent on Fields' legs? Yeah, that's going to be a short season.
Well, here's the thing, Chris, and I'm going to come to you next. You look at this Jets team, it's a decent quarterback room. They do bring Brady Cook in from Mizzou as a college free agent. I think this kid could be good in our league. But if you look at second on the depth chart, you got Tyrod Taylor. I mean, he's Fitzmagic. So if it was safe to go with Justin, why? To all his respect, he is a first-round quarterback. Look at the Chicago situation. Caleb Williams. Look at him
the
last year.
Pittsburgh situation. Pittsburgh wasn't bad. He did okay in Pittsburgh. But once again, we knew that when Russell got healthy, they were going to go with Russell. I think now that you made me aware of who the second-string quarterback is in New Jersey, he could actually be on a short leash if it comes to be ugly early. Now, I think Coach's going to give him all the rope to hang himself. But I think it would be a short leash if it becomes ugly early because we know how the New York media gets. We understand who Tyrod Taylor is as a quarterback in this league, as a backup in this league, as a ready starter whenever he gets his chance.
That's
Almost
right.
two guys with the same storyline, to be honest with you. So we'll see. But I think he's on a short leash for Tyrod Taylor.
Now, Chris, your thoughts on that? Lil Chris, L-A-H. Your thoughts on just Justin Fields? We know $40 million, that does secure you somewhere for 2 years.
Absolutely.
I got to figure out how much of it is guaranteed. But I know who I did draft on my fantasy team last year. That boy Hall, the running back.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
Very underrated running back.
You
for
see what I'm
sure.
saying? So very underrated. Like he helped me. I won my league last year. So the running game is there. You know,
Absolutely.
we
I'm a
weren't
fan.
so confident
I'm a fan
in
of it.
Pittsburgh with that.
I'm a
But
fan of it.
what's your thoughts, Chris?
I agree. I believe they're going to have a strong running game, and hopefully the offensive line can improve a little bit this year as well. Because when they had Aaron Rodgers and maybe even a little bit of Zach Wilson, the offensive line wasn't very good. Hopefully they can improve on the offensive line this year, and I do believe in the run game, but like CL said, what the passing game is going to look like outside of Garrett Wilson. So I believe in the running game, but let's see what the passing game is because I don't have that much faith in the passing game either, honestly.
I don't know how good you.
It's Inside the Trenches, baby. We live here at the Loyola Studios. We got Wes, Damon, Tyler in the studio. We also have our special guest, Dr. Travis Baptiste, who will be joining us the next segment. Y'all don't go there. I thought we got y'all right last week with Dr. Kendra. My man coming over here, coming the back out here, the arms, busting out his scrubs. Like, yeah, he got the juices for us, so I'm excited to get him on. And speaking of Dr. Kendra, we want to once again thank Health Nut System for sponsoring this segment. Remember, if you do want to have that still body, baby, go to stillbody.org. You can also go to her page, health_nut1 on Instagram. Some more, pertinent information about everything that they have for us over there at Health Nut System. All right, guys. For the most part, y'all sound about right. I understand the concerns with Aaron Rodgers. This is the back end Aaron Rodgers. This isn't the MVP from
How old
several years ago. 40?
He's 41.
41. Yeah. It was the 05 draft.
He got drafted in 05.
For all the time undefeated.
He did got drafted in 05.
05. So and Father Time does step in eventually. For Tom Brady, he was able to kind of exit somewhat on his own terms off of a championship.
Yeah.
Is that something that Tom is trying to do the Tampa Bay thing out there in Pittsburgh? Chris said not happening. He said not happening.
Fun fact, Aaron Rodgers beat Mike Tomlin in the Super Bowl 15 years ago.
Hey, that's a good point. That is definitely a good point.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was a Super Bowl. I didn't go to the game because I gave my tickets away. But
Wow.
I didn't give them away, but that's another story.
One hangs in a dark cave, the other one eats avocado ice cream.
So both weird.
They're not the same.
That's different. Avocado ice cream is pretty good, but on one end, the dark cave. I've been on some field trips before where we went camping. There was a dark tent though.
The Baltimore Ravens defensive line is going to make him want to be in a dark cave.
Oh,
That's something to think about. That is something to think about.
The
Another
Cleveland
move that was
Browns defensive line.
that defensive line, especially with the draft. All right, Nick Chubb joins the Texans. Reportedly, the Saints were interested in Nick Chubb. I like that for the Texans. I think that he will complement C.J. Stroud, possibly a bit better than Mixon. This is his second trip for this running back. He's only been in Cleveland.
Right.
So it's cool that he's coming down south with an L. Chris, let's start with you first. Nick Chubb to the Texans. You like it or hate it? Or indifferent?
I love it actually.
Okay.
I love it. Now we're going to see if he's still the same running back he was before the injury he suffered. But I do love this move. I think he can complement C.J. Stroud really well, and I definitely expect C.J. Stroud to have a better third season than he had second season, hopefully. And, yeah, I think he could complement the run game well. He could complement the play action real well for C.J. Stroud, and I think he is a good addition for the offense.
I think so too. I think their offensive line has made some improvements. Defensively, you lock up Derek Stingley, put him in a nice contract, one of the highest paid corners, if not the highest paid. So I'm with it, y'all. I think it's a good deal. We talked about this during the break, and yeah, you better believe it. And, it's a two-headed question, but go ahead. Do you like the move?
I don't like it.
Oh,
Wow.
Of course. Why you don't like it?
I have several reasons why I don't like it. First of all, Joe Mixon is the running back.
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon is the running back in Houston. Last year he had 245 carries for 1,000 yards. Insert a Nick Chubb, and we understand how ball dominant Nick Chubb is and the type of offense that he's coming from Cleveland. We know Chubb is a bell cow. What are you telling us? Because maybe your receiver is out for the year, you're gonna run the ball more in Houston instead of trying to push the ball downfield, which made you guys explosive, what made y'all jump into the playoffs because the offense was so explosive. Now you're telling me you're gonna just run with Nixon and Chubb? I don't see that happening. I see, because what you're doing is you're taking away the actual explosiveness of what Nixon does with the ball in his hand compared to 3 yards and a cloud of dust with the Nick Chubb. So in my personal opinion, I don't like it. That two-headed monster, I just don't like it.
Well, it worked in New Orleans with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Yeah. That might be what they're thinking about. To your point, because you have, Nico out for 9 weeks?
I don't see this boy. I just don't see him coming back this year. And then when he comes back, you're going to put that kind of onus on him to maybe explode the offense.
Is it Tank Dell?
Dell.
It's Dell. Well, you still got Nico Collins. You still have Christian Kirk. From a tight end perspective,
but you lose Tunzel. But you lose Larry Tunzel.
Yeah.
You know, it's the best tackle that they have.
Now they got Cam Robinson from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you were somewhat right about C.J. Stroud. The second year he still made it to the playoffs, but to your point, the surprises were out. All right, one more in the NFL. Officially, Jaire Alexander
got released.
Has been released from Green Bay, and he is available. Any thoughts on that? Any possible landing spots for him, y'all think?
I've always been a fan of Red 23. I mean, I won't lie to you. He's in the past few years he's had some rough games, but all in all, you know, one of the more solid outside one-on-one cover corners in this league, and he does show up in the tackling game. If I had my choice between Alexander or San Diego, Ashanti.
Yes.
Shante Samuels Jr.
Yeah.
I would want Alexander because he truly reminds me of a Marshawn Lattimore.
I think that's a good comparison. You would, if you're the New Orleans Saints, you know, you've seen that, and you can make it happen some type of way. What you do?
That is a great comparison because me and my friends for years been comparing Marshawn Lattimore to Jaire Alexander. I've always been Lattimore is better, and they always been Alexander is better. But Jaire in New Orleans, that would be a cool addition. But I'm a little bit iffy only because like he has been kind of injury prone like Lattimore these past couple of years. And don't get me wrong, like you said, CL, he is a great cornerback. When healthy, he could possibly still be a top 10 corner in the league. But injuries does concern me. His health does concern me, just like it was for Lattimore. So I think it would be cool for them to sign him, but I'm still a little bit iffy on it only because of his health.
I mean, money too. I mean, you got to spend some bread
Absolutely.
on it.
Well, you know me. It has to make sense numerically. You know, if he's coming in on a 1-year prove-it deal, please, by all means, I'll give you $10 million right now.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'll give you $10 million guaranteed right now. which is $3 million less than what Aaron Rodgers signed for.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for hitting you, brother.
No, you
$3 million less for what
I
Aaron
got
Rodgers
a little
sold in
perspiration
Pittsburgh.
right there, a little sweat.
Right.
No, no, Chris. Nah,
Come on.
Look, Aaron Rodgers didn't fascinate us last football season.
And the one
Although
before.
his numbers were right there as his,
Not bad numbers.
Yeah, wasn't horrible numbers, but like
His
Lil
impact.
Wayne with the Carter 6, everybody looking for the MVP. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. Right on that
Nice.
Wayne album.
Nice.
All right, let's switch gears a second. Louisiana on fire right now. LSU baseball headed to Omaha. They defeated West Virginia 12